Welcome to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Nedling. You are about to discover impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you, so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Be sure you visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now tune in, get ready, and enjoy the journey of emerging as a leader of exception in the 21st century.
Welcome, everyone, to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast. I'm your host, Vicki Nedling, coming to you from Roswell, Georgia. The goal of our podcast is to share topics and guests that will empower you to grow as a confident leader and take your business and your life to the next level. I'm happy to have a guest tonight by the name of Michaell Magrutsche.
Magrutsche, yeah.
Magrutsche, yeah.
Perfect.
I got a German name.
Perfect.
So,
Yeah.
so Michaell is an Austrian-Californian, opposite sides of the world, multimedia artist, educator, author of 5 art-related books. He's also a podcaster, a coach, a creative advisor, and former Newport Beach, California Arts Commissioner. Michaell is fluent in German and English and an outside-of-the-box thinker. He has resolved the paradox: why are 95% of the worldwide artists existing around the poverty level and therefore should be proud to be poor? But without creativity, there are no man-made systems. There would be no world as we know it today. No iPhones, y'all.
Yeah.
The solution, Michaell discovers patterns within art that foster creative communication and identifies art values outside any system, which always raise our human potential. Please join me in welcoming our theme today of art creativity as human superpower. Please welcome Michaell Magrutsche.
Thank you for giving me the space, Vicki. I appreciate that.
You're very
Yeah,
welcome.
you basically said everything. I think we can finish it now.
Yeah, we're done. We're
No,
done.
but
this
basically
is
that's
launching pad.
Yes, I'm out of the box. It sounds so, yeah, okay, he's out of the box. I couldn't be out of the box more than I was. I was born as a sick child. I was extremely dyslexic. I could not comprehend school. I could not, so I had to fend for myself, survive on my own terms, basically. Yeah. So how do I actually exist in a society that I don't understand or don't relate to?
Yeah.
And I was not a rebel. I was not, I had tutors and everything. I just couldn't comprehend school. I failed, like I had to repeat 2 or 3 classes. So, and you know, when that it happens in 15, when you're like 10, 15, between that age, it's extremely defining.
Yeah, it is.
But I am very lucky that I'm alive because I didn't do drugs. I couldn't because I was sick. I couldn't take drugs. So that I didn't take drugs, that I didn't give up, that I didn't, because art showed me, art was basically my lifeline.
No.
I wasn't conscious, obviously, at that time, but it was always the lifeline that made me feel humane. So when I hear a song, when I saw a painting or whatever, I felt connected.
Yeah.
And so I felt this was my lifeline. And then 35 years old, when I was 35 years old and applied for a job, I looked at all my resumes. I didn't call myself artist till then, because the system defines if you're an artist. So if the society says you're an artist, then you are. If you sell paintings or music, you are an artist. everything you do, you can have Harvard and everything. If you don't be successful, it doesn't matter if you were at Harvard or Stanford or whatever education you have. So I found that it was, and when I looked at the resume, all my jobs were from 6 years old. All my jobs are artists. So I did so many stuff. Again, I couldn't fit really into the system. So I produced fashion shows. I was a DJ. I was in television. I was in media sales. I was in so many different avenues, and arts commissioner of Newport Beach and all this stuff. So I was in all these avenues, and I couldn't really establish myself. Because then it went to a system. I was good for 3 or 4 fashion shows. I was good as a DJ, with about 10, 20 times. I was good in making mixtapes, but I couldn't longevity when it comes when you have to go into the system. I couldn't, not that I didn't want to. Oh my God, I wanted to,
right.
But I couldn't. And I found, and when the last, when we were like the last 3 or 4 years, every time these things came up, starving artist, why are arts thing? And I said, oh my God, it saved my life. I know it made me feel a human, a part of humanity.
Right.
How can it be that over 95% of artists worldwide exists on the poverty level? And so I dove in. And what I discovered was, number one, how we see art in systems and society, which is a system, but basically humans see the art as there is something special about it, but it is basically a business, because what we see is the product, and the product is basically a market. It's whatever the market takes from that product, and the artist that sells, is an artist. The artist that doesn't sell is not an artist, or is a bad artist. So the product
is a bad marketer.
Yeah, exactly, or something. But market is also a thing. Even if you have are the best artist and you market right, it doesn't mean that. See, that's a that's misconstruing that humans, because if there's no the artists that I know, they're better than any business person in marketing. They're better in social because they are more humane. They are very good in connecting. They have the best Instagram accounts. They have the best websites. At the beginning, it wasn't. It was the business was stronger. But now artists have better websites and better Instagrams and better social media than big businesses or successful businesses. But it is not. It's if there's no demand.
Yeah.
There's no demand. Like everybody does podcasts. But that is a symptom of something. So where do you want to go back to?
So whenever we talk about that, why don't we know anything about art and creativity? In schools, we have their general curriculum that they need to get done.
Yeah.
And they, even in business, we say, we want you to be creative. We want you to be innovative, but we don't generally allow it,
Yes. And this is the second. So I explained to you the first part, which is the business. That's how we know it. And the second part is the magic that really happens, that people appreciate, is the magic in the creation. And we artists also, this happens all similarities at some similar levels. So artists have never defined their value. Artists were from the beginning hired by some patron, by the duke, by the king, and say, hey, you can live in my house and at night you play me music or you paint me on a horse, right? So we have never defined ourselves. We were always given what the system, in this case, the king, felt it was worth to him. And so we artists were happy that somebody supported us, and we created. And because we have never defined our value for humanity, we don't have a definition. So when you go to, I always say the same example, but that's the best example. When you ask a plumber, why do I pay you $5,000 on your bill? And he says, I'm doing a bathtub, a shower, and I have to lay this piping there. When you ask an artist, why should I pay $5,000 for this painting? They start stuttering, or they go in their ego and say, because I was awarded this. Who cares? Who cares if you buy a painting? You care if somebody was awarded? Mm-hmm. No. I mean, it's nice. It's a nice after effect. Is the stuff to sell? You know, the pivot point to get to the sale. Yeah. But it is not. It's not. There's no usability for art because there is a usability for art, but we haven't defined it. And so I am pretty much the only thing I've given 40 interviews in the last four months, and all over the world, and nobody has ever said, no, that's not correct or whatever. We haven't defined ourselves. And I'm the only one that actually said, why is that way? And because I never fit into a thing, I think it was a couple of things that came together. So I found that. I said, okay, I need to define the function of arts for us. Yeah. And in my last book, The Smart of Art, I did that. And out of that, I said, okay, nobody wants to read a book. Nobody wants to read and whatever. So I need to do a podcast with just the quotes of my books.
Yeah.
So I did a podcast. I'm doing a podcast with, there's no guests. It's just me saying a 20, 30 second quote and a question to seed that knowledge, to seed that wisdom that I discovered, because I didn't invent it. I just unveiled what was already here. We just didn't see it. You know, it's like you're looking at a fountain and you have your kids there and the sun is shining and you say, come around, and all of a sudden you see the rainbow.
Yeah.
That's an experience that you will never forget.
Right.
And it's because you experienced that. And so I say it doesn't need a lot of effort. It's just the consciousness. I believe that actually the crisis that we have today is a consciousness crisis. It's just, it's not something we have to do more and better and more systems and more apps and more buying. We can, by just being aware and pivot back, that humans can help each other, and together we can handle anything. There's nothing on this earth. We created everything. So why can't we handle everything? Yeah. So there's nothing on this earth that we can't handle. We just have to get together and not submit ourselves as submit ourselves to systems and learn what it is to be a human being through systems. They're so limited. That's why they separated us in gender, in race, because they're so limited. They couldn't handle us. They were so limited systems in the old days that they had to literally separate us in genders. Or race, and now then race, and look what they do. They get more with AI and stuff. They get more intricate, and now they separate us in sexuality. It is absolutely good for systems that the system can handle us, but it's not good for humans.
For the people.
Because systems are 24 hours. They run 24 hours. They have no cycles. They're not a living being like humans are. And that's why art it doesn't function on a 24/7 cycle. You need to contemplate, you need to go for a walk, you need to get away. We need to get away from your work. You need to balance, because basically what for living beings, you and me and nature, the absolute power is balance. It's not power over, power under, because the elephant doesn't see themselves as more powerful than the ant. They are valuable because they exist. And that's when we can pivot that, when we can comprehend that and say, yeah, systems are great, but we need to make ethical systems, not by creating more like a political correct. We need to make the economic, we need to, because all systems are based on economy, correct, on the economic principle. Every system, religion, it doesn't matter, politics, every system. And we need to find ethical economics that we need to change, and we can do it. Oh no, we can't do it. Yes, we can. We can. We created it, and we can change it. That's why I say it's a superpower. And if we see that, and we see that we are all artists, and not like, you know, business people say, "Oh, I'm not an art person." You wouldn't be even calling yourself a business person if you weren't artistic.
So I guess that leads me to the question of, you know, why do we feel incompetent to talk about art?
Because we never defined it. Yeah. We are part of humanity. Artists are part of humanity. And neither the people that hire us or give us money or the patrons know that if we didn't ever define, let's say, plumbing, right, we wouldn't know what plumbing is worth. We would never, we wouldn't see it, but it's so obvious because when you go to the bathroom, you can't go in a hole, you know, that it is so essential, you know, but see, and creativity has the thing for, you know, instead of going into a hole, creativity allows you to create something that you don't have to go in a hole. but you have to comprehend that.
So I think it also comes down to slowing down. Yes,
it forces you.
Yeah,
art always forces you to be human. It brings you all together. So that's why another superpower. You forgot your humanity. You were a monster in your thing. Hang out with artist community. Yeah. You change. You come and look what these CEOs do. Even the craziest people that are so away from their human nature. Yeah. What they're doing on the weekend, they go home and tinker on their car. Tinker. Yeah. A person that never touches anything dirty goes to tinker on their car in the garden, collects art, collects things. That brings it back. Why do you think all the rich people love art? Yeah. Because they know they are so depleted from the systems. Because I don't think that rich people are bad people at all. No, they're just too much. They had too much luck to be successful in systems, and it pulled them out of themselves. And then the system took over, you know, like a lot of people in the Western world, it took us over, you know, and the whole world actually. Yeah. Yeah. Right. So it took, you know, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, they are taken over by the system. Because I heard somebody tell me, do you think he knows, but he knows from hearsay that this and this doesn't work at Amazon, but he personally doesn't know. So if you take him down and say, this is what happens, look at that. It's not abstract anymore. We are so tricky. We are so creative in our mind to make everything abstract. That's why even when the people listen to a podcast or whatever, it's not like talking to a person. And, you know, except perhaps for us closer, but it would be better still in person better.
Yeah, you know? Absolutely. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is we're so refined in our mind, in our being, that we can abstract all the things we don't want to hear. So we say, okay, there's dying, you know, 75,000 people died in Ukraine, Russian war, soldiers. That's just soldiers. And we say, God thanks I'm not there. That's our compartmentalizing, because we couldn't fathom, even we can't fathom this pain. Yeah. And so we say, okay, I'm glad, I'm thankful, I'm grateful, you know, that whole grateful thing. You're grateful for everything and don't change anything. You know, you're great. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for having a roll to eat. I'm grateful. Yeah.
But what are you doing to change?
What do you do? How effective are you? Yeah. Are you upset about things, or are you grateful for things? But how effective are you actually as a part of humanity? Nobody asks you to fix the war in Ukraine. Nobody. But experience it. Experience the pain. Just experience. Not having compassion. Compassion is something completely different. It's saying this is going on, and I'm part of it. Like I'm saying always. I look at the world when I see something super. Let's see, I'm seeing the new car and it's phenomenal, and I'll say, "Oh my God, that Porsche is the greatest thing ever." And I look at that, and I say, "Oh my God, it does that too." I mean, we are just, and I said, what a creativity to create that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, "Oh my God, that brand is so awesome. I'm worth nothing." That's how we look at brands and systems. You know, Apple is so great. New York is so great, but I'm nothing, right?
Yeah.
I connect with that. I say, this is unbelievable and makes me totally in awe. But it was created by humans. I always say that. I was created, and I'm part of this. I'm part of that race. And that makes it totally different. So with one, I'm putting myself to the beautiful things. And with the other one, I'm separating myself. I'm not Apple. I'm not Porsche. I'm not that brand. I'm not the state of Switzerland. I'm not, and that's how I would start to realize it, to compartmentalize creativity. And then I would also say, war. I'm part of this war that humans did that, and it shows me the spectrum. It shows me we can do good, and it's a choice. We can do good or we can do bad. And I look at war and say, that is amazing. And you know what? Also, I'm looking at the stuff that they don't talk about the Syrian war anymore. They talk about Yemen. They don't talk about these wars. Well, 300,000, 400,000 people die of famine. Yeah. In our times, not 200 years ago. In our times, and I say we are limitless. And I take both. I take the Porsche and the war, and I say, wow, we are limitless. We can do everything, and that empowers you and me as humans. I said, if we couldn't do both, we can fix systems to become human adaptable, meaning we don't adapt to systems like to the iPhone. All of a sudden you need to learn a computer to handle your phone, but we make systems that serve us so that we can talk more about these things. Like what we do right now is talking about human potential. Correct. We don't talk about, hey, let me sell you my book. Let me think that's irrelevant. I'm being in the moment with you, creating a powerful interaction, which is, by the way, also a superpower. Discourse, because we change our brain while we talk. Yeah, you can that's tested. So you can't even say, no, I'm talking to Michaell, but I'm not going to change my brain. No, you every time you talk to somebody, you change your brain. Yeah, and you better surrender to that, because you cannot not. Unless you lock yourself in, somewhere. So, and all has to do with creativity. Everything, because the creativity is the result of the interaction of the non-physical to the physical. And now I tell you why people love art so much. Because when they realize, especially when they're really separated, then they see art. And it reminds them of themselves, of the core of themselves, that we're all connected. And whatever we created, being the big CEO or whatever, it's from that source. And what we're seeing the result. Art is the result, the pure result, without a focus on a market or anything, unless an artist works for the market. But I'm saying art as the essence is the product of the interaction of my inspiration to the physical world.
Yeah.
And now you tell me what is not inspired in what we do. You don't
Everything,
think that creativity and art is not the essential power and to balance all that stuff? I mean, it is the essential power of everything. So, and this is my mission, I feel, because I know people, when they get aware of this, I think you cannot go back to Vicki before this talk and say, what do you think about art? Because now you know it's all about creativity, and creativity does not work in systems. It's on a system that's 24/7. Creativity only works in the human environment. It doesn't work in the system requirements. I mean, I look at jobs today, and basically they say, be an artist or whatever. And they ask me for 2 or 3 coding languages. So the coding language is more important, and my human than my artistic knowledge. So what I'm saying is, when we see that drives us back together. See, that drives us back in not being 24/7, not to be always on the damn phone, and to appreciate art. And art is the absolutely highest form of being in the moment. When you creating art is being in the moment. That's why artists feel so frustrated. They have these magical moments of creating, and then the system says, oh, it's not worth anything. I don't like it. But there's
put it on the show.
Yeah, and because it is a product, it's not important anymore. It's a product, and only the person that is sensitive enough to see or is exactly aligned with their resonance, where it hits them into the stomach, where they say, I have to pay $100 million for a painting because I see something in this nobody else sees, because it's priceless. Art is priceless.
It always amazed me, there are so many people that don't feel they're, comfortable at drawing or creating art. And yet the person that is so good at doing it, they think, well, it's easy for them. Well, but okay, if it's so hard for you and, they're talented, they have the gift to be able to do it, why wouldn't you treasure that talent, that gift, and appropriately, put on that price tag that shows, those hours that you took to do that are worth.
No, it's not, because we have never defined it. If you clean the house, it's the same thing. Why are you cleaning? But I have a reference with you ever. So if you clean the house, and you can say, how much does a house cleaner cost? And you can gauge, but it's really not gauging, because, there's cleaners that clean and there's cleaners that clean.
I was just going to say that.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah, I know.
So if you have we don't have a value for priceless things. How much would you think this podcast is worth, this episode? Make me an offer. There is no price for this, for this. That's priceless. And that's why artists have also a very hard look. If I sell a bicycle, I know exactly the market. I know I'm playing in the systems. There's the same thing if you have no money to make money with money.
Yeah.
So the half of the world lives on $5.50, because the system doesn't teach you how to get from zero when you can't. I'm saying this thing, when you can't put anything on the side.
Yeah.
How can you, if you need to have a certain amount of capital to start, that the system makes money for you. And if you can't get to that, you can't.
You can't.
You can't. And all the artists, including me, are in that position. And I'm not ashamed about it, because I now understand it. I was very ashamed. I was 40 years ashamed about it. And what's wrong with me? oh, because I'm dyslexic, because no, it's just the system doesn't work for that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very hard to gauge when you never gauge the value. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why I say, let me explain how important art is for humanity, not for you and me, for everyone, and how creativity is a superpower. Then you will perhaps say, no artist should starve ever.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be the appropriate response as a human being, not from the system. It would say, because without creativity and without humans, we don't need systems. There's no need for systems. We created them and we run them because we adapt to them, we create for them, we manage them, we run them, and we navigate them. So the essential point is, but in that, because it's limited, it wasn't created by God. We and nature were created by God, matrix, universe, whatever you say. But the system was created by us. It's limited by the fact that we created it. So we can't submit to it. It's almost like I'm an artist. I make this beautiful, realistic doll. And all of a sudden I ask it for advice. That will never work. But we're doing that with economy. We're doing that with our systems. It will never work. If you haven't the most, what do they call it? Frequent answered question. If your question, and how often were you, surprised by it? I said, I have that question. It's not there. There's a million questions. You put it in the search. I need to talk to a human.
Yeah.
Because he understands not from the words, he understands from the meaning. It's the meaning that is valuable. And that's sold to us. It's not the money.
Yeah.
Because what do we do with money? We're buying meaning. I buy the Ferrari to get the hot chicks. You know what I mean? So
what I do with helping people with public speaking, to me, it's an art, but it's an art that can be learned, obviously.
Yeah.
And it always pains me to see someone that has a great story, but doesn't feel comfortable telling the story, and doesn't feel that they are their message. They know what they want to talk about, but they are just so afraid of getting out there and doing that. And so it's, to me, it is an art that we have to just be able to sell others, or not sell, but more so be able to persuade people to be able to be open-minded, to really take the time to appreciate what you are bringing to the table and why you should listen to.
Yeah. The thing is with not, the speaking is the self-shaming that systems ultimately do.
Yeah.
That's ultimately what systems do. Not because they're mean. And on the other side of systems are humans too that have to feed their kids. So they develop. So basically what I want to do also communicate, we have to watch that we're not humans against human. But when the speaking thing is, the system says you can prepare yourself. Now, I did Toastmasters.
Me too.
I couldn't do anything with them. I couldn't do, but I learned from my participation that I can't program myself. I cannot prepare myself. I can know about a topic and then I have no problem speaking.
Well, that's what we teach now. So you're right on the time,
because it's the greatest.
Yeah, you have to be able to really just have a conversation with your audience. And, when you're talking about your art and this creativity and the systems, there's passion in your voice, and there's power, and you bring your attention to the key things that you want to share. And that's all you want to do as a speaker. That's what we really want from you. The functions that art brings in our human existence are what?
Okay, so we talked already about functions. That it is our realization of the product of how we work from the non-physical into the physical, and that conversation we learn about the conversation. That's actually the most functioning in any creativity. When you think, how can I get my podcast? You look at things and then you go to sleep and say, oh my God, everybody does everything. What am I going to do? Then you go to sleep, you wake up. And all of a sudden you say, I have a thing to make that, like my 30 seconds. Yeah. I said, I don't want to ask people to, I think, in my opinion, we waste enough time, with stuff. I don't want to add to it. And it wouldn't help because wisdom is short and it's just a quote sometimes that can pivot you in the right direction on your journey.
Yeah.
And I think that's number one function, that you learn in your physicalness how you function from the non-physical and the physical. And that means making money, creating a podcast, be a CEO. If you don't understand, you pivot to a limitness, to your limit. You become limit. When you think the answer is in your mind, which all the thoughts and knowledge are mind. Knowledge is from system, and you know how long knowledge lasts, right? A second, and then it's the new one.
Forgot it.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah. Because it's not an experiential learning.
Yeah.
That's why our school system is so, we did the best we can, but now we are aware that it needs to be different and we need to change it. So I'm working on education, on children education with art, because once you understand wisdom, and I think also they should have philosophy in very early on, so they think there's different models of being human. None is right or wrong, but finding there's no right or wrong. In system, it has to be right or wrong because it has to put you in a box. And so you need to learn, but humans don't work on right or wrong, good or bad. We can be both. We can be wrong.
Yeah.
And we can right. And how often are we wrong and don't even know it? We just keep plugging away for 10 years and then we get bam. And we say, oh my God, I did this the whole thing. And then what we're doing then, we shame ourselves. We don't see failure as a path to success.
Yeah.
Look, if I would have given up when I was little, couldn't fit in school or whatever, where would I be? Do you think that would be better, that I would have died? I mean, or that I'm like a vegetable somewhere? I mean, anybody that says that is disconnected, because we all have value. The bum on the street, look how many million people go by the bum on the street. He shows you something, what you want and what you don't want, where you don't want to end up.
Right.
And why is that person, even if you don't want to look at him, we are all one weave. I'm not saying go kiss that homeless person, go and kiss everybody in the supermarket. I'm saying just observe.
Be aware.
Observe him. Okay. And don't judge it, and don't get yourself out of the feeling. If you feel good with something, ask, why am I feeling good? Why feel it bad?
Well, I think that's a key thing right there, is the things that stay with you are the emotions.
Exactly.
That whatever you see, whatever you hear that evokes an emotion will stay with you. And so much so that if you hear that same song or that same,
it puts you right back.
It will take you there.
That's another function. You said the function. You answered that your own question. There's a function right there. And that is not, you can't price that. Oh my God, that, how can you price it? It's not priceable. It could be the most horrible song that brings you back in a feeling where you say, oh my God, I was so happy with this.
Yeah.
And this is why we go for meaning so much. We go, look, people do the same over and over, but it's like a drug. It never works like the first time, right? So let's say we go into an environment, Chuck E. Cheese or McDonald's or Starbucks or whatever, and have that experience. And then we go back, and it was magical, right? And then we go back and back and back, and then we have a coffee, the 10th year, and still drink Starbucks coffee, but we don't have the experience anymore, or And what we're doing when we travel, we go to the same restaurant. We go to the same restaurant because we want that experience, but we should know that that experience can't be the same.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't go to the, I'm not saying don't go. But what I'm saying is be aware that the juice of life is in the new.
Yeah. That's
what sells the best. The new car, the Tesla, that sells, you know.
It's not pushing outside your comfort zone that gives you that.
I don't know if you see, comfort zone is another thing that is so system programmed.
Mm-hmm.
If I would teach, I would have loved to teach when, you know, what I would have liked to know when I was little is that the world is not supposed to, that is the deadly word, supposed to be happy-go-lucky. System says the world has to be happy-go-lucky. If not, you get a pill. We sell you a car. We buy you a home. You buy yourself a home. So if you're not lucky, happy-go-lucky, we can support you with that. And life is, I told you, the power of the thing, the power of a living being is the balance. And it's not that what you have or not have. So if you are in balance as poor or you're in balance as rich, it's fine. But if you're out of balance when you're poor or rich, that's not fine. So what's really counting in humanity is being in balance.
Right.
That's the key.
Either way, you're going to be unhappy, poor or rich, if you're out of balance.
Balance is happy. When you're in peace, you're happy. Yeah. I experienced it only very few times because, you know, being in the moment and meditating or whatever. And meditation it's actually better to create something and be aware that the creation brings you in the moment and with your higher self to create is more powerful. But when I am in peace, you are out of time, space. You don't see the time running. You know, when you work on your newest podcast, you know, and you're so excited to get it out, you forget that you worked 12 hours before, right? And you have the kids to take care of and the pills to pay and all. You forget all that. You are in peace and then you feel peace. And that's why that's another function of art. And then when you're in peace, I scanned all my problems and they have no relevance. They have zero relevance. I mean, literally, I've scanned my thing when I was almost on the street.
Wow.
And I was in peace before that. And I said, I scanned it. It didn't do anything to me. My problems of my age or my health or anything had no effect on me because I was in that peace in that moment.
Wow.
That's magic. That's why I'm saying balance, and the peace is balance. It is a symptom of when you're in balance. You know when you're in balance. Oh, I'm balanced. I'm good. I'm doing yoga. I'm doing all this. No. If you are in balance, you are in peace, and you don't care about any problems. Not meaning you don't care about it. It's they don't have any emotional pull on you.
Right.
And art brings you to that place. It is a journey to creating art, create in the garden. And I talk to veterans too, that even if you can't, because of the limbs and everything, if you can't, just look at art.
Yeah.
Just look at art to recognize, to connect your inside, and don't feel guilty if you don't like it. Find the art that moves you. And it can be dark art. I said it can be dark art. It doesn't matter. Find what moves you because that brings you in the moment.
Yeah.
Because you can't think. I mean, if you sing to a song, it captures you. There's nothing you can think. When you hear a song the first time and it grabs you, you're not thinking, oh my God, I have to pay the bills or whatever. You can't. Because it brings you into you and it says, you are okay. Right. You, Vicki, are okay. And that's what we all want.
Right.
But see, when we always meddling and not using systems what they're supposed to do to make us safe and peaceful, that's why we create a tribe, right?
Yeah, right.
We create a tribe to be safe and peaceful, but now we have pivoted to they are better. The tribe is more than I, whatever. And now we lost ourselves. And these are all symptoms because we lost ourselves.
Yeah.
We lost ourselves because our mind is so powerful that it can give us an delusion. And there's all these science on the illusion and multiple personality that we can believe that's reality. That's how humans should be. And I would have loved. I said my key things. What I would teach every child is you have that you hit the wall left, you hit the wall right, and none is right, none is wrong, but it makes you find yourself. Right. It makes you find the thing. So when all of a sudden you can't pay for a bill, it's not, oh my God, the system is horrible, the bill paying, whatever. No, it's just showing you something. I'm not looking at something. And then when I see something good, the same way, I think, why can life not be always like that? I can see it if I don't know the darkness. If every day is sunny, I can't appreciate. I can't appreciate the sun.
That's true.
If it's every day sun, if it's every day is raining, I can't appreciate. Reversed. But I can also learn. This is here to guide me. It's raining, and I'm enjoying that rain. So because it's up to you. But I think when you're conditioned that everything should be rosy all the time. see, the rosiness is the symptom of you seeing both sides, the navigation, the Google map,
right.
your GPS. And that's what it is. And that is bigger. That's the human potential, what's called human potential. It's not system navigation and making systems better. What's the key is the human potential. And people don't have dialogues like you and I. They don't have this stuff. We're talking purely human potential now. Yeah. And there's so much in it. I think everybody should. I hope I can encourage everybody to listen to your episode a couple of times, because it's wisdom. It's wisdom of life experience of you and me. And what I said here, people need to also understand. I haven't thought about this before. That's the result of your and my mind, together. Of our mastermind, of you and me. I'm just a loudspeaker, but because I put it in context with my personality and what I do, but I'm the loudspeaker of you and me. You can listen to all my podcasts. There will be some things will be the same, like the plumber, but there will be every episode is different.
Awesome. It's time for rapid fire.
Okay, fire me.
We could probably talk for a long time, but we're going to go with rapid fire now.
Go ahead.
Talk to me about the feeling we get when we are creative and artistic. I think we touched on this already.
Yeah, you're in peace. You're in one. You forget time, space. You feel worthy. You feel worthy. You feel you have a purpose. You feel you have an understanding, and you are surprised often when you create something, and then look after 10 years. At the creation, you say, "Oh my God, that was really good," but you don't see it because you are in the you are so much in the system evaluation of things.
Art is a hobby. What does that bring to mind?
That is the system explanation of not defining ourselves. We haven't defined ourselves. So what they say is also that they don't feel guilty. See, they know the truth. The system knows the truth. And the only responsive is if somebody doesn't make money, or why can't they live in poverty? There must be something wrong. Must be a hobby. And I think selling art is the hobby. I think art creation and looking at art is always growth. There's never a moment that isn't growth. even if you don't like the color or like the color, if you like the image or not, if you like the music or not, it's always a growth because you're realizing something is changing. Something is different to me.
Yeah.
It is a feedback like the GPS. Go ahead.
How can entrepreneurs develop their creative, artistic gifts? Being
aware of that their existence is not dependent on how good they work. Their existence. See, if all these CEOs, all these super leaders, realize their success is system navigation, right? So some people, like, I couldn't navigate systems. They are system navigators, master system navigators, but it's the creativity, because otherwise everybody would be successful.
Yeah.
So their creativity of how to navigate the system is why they are where they are. They are not, of course, the system rewards you if you do system, you create, that's also creativity. If you create stuff for the system that makes the system look good, you need to also have it. There is nothing in this world that you can't create that is disconnected from creativity.
Yeah.
Even if look at the stuff I'm saying that's why I'm saying the other side of the system is humans that need to feed their kids. So they're using all their creativity.
Right.
That the new tax system, that people accept that, right? And then we use all the creativity to navigate the tax system that we pay the least taxes. I'm using taxes because that affects everyone.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
And what I'm saying is, look at our craziness. So we're spending hours in human lives on creating a system that is accepted by other humans and that they can't circumvent or navigate. And we send everything to navigate that system. Why? Why is it? If we understand we are all one, we can pay for everything.
Yeah.
We can pay for everything. We can pay way easier than through systems. We can say, hey, we understand that. And we can create human systems. That's why I'm saying creating an ethical economy that works first on humans. We have to stay number one. We cannot submit to a doll, and we do submitting to a doll, and that doesn't work.
Talk to us about your role as a creative advisor.
I'm basically doing what I do here.
Yeah, right now.
I mean, I said, it's about the consciousness. I don't have, when you listen to me, I don't believe in steps. I can explain. I said, this is the first, like I said, when you experience and when you start seeing that Porsche is your reflection or is where you are part of it, then the second step, once you have to see that, to feel that you're part of humanity that created that.
Right.
So you can't be not worthy. Shame is your default. The self-shaming is default. You're part of humanity. So you are part of this as much as you believe it or not. And then the second step would be, but I wouldn't say you need to do this first. I just say, look for the rainbow. Look for the rain. That's not positive thinking. That's not positive is system, positive thinking. It's look for the rainbow. There's treasure in everything, in the dark and in the light. Because it's all the thing. And by that, leaders transform.
You can't experience the light until you've experienced the dark.
I don't think that has particularly even to do what is first.
Oh, true.
Yeah, what is first? See, we need to go.
No chicken or egg here.
No, but Vicki, this is great that you. But look, you said something, and I said thing, and this is the great thing about human. And you don't feel, oh my God, he told me I didn't do that. There's no right or wrong. Yeah. But I'm saying, think yourself or feel yourself. If you see only sunshine and then something dark, you have to deal with it. Yeah. And it brings you that sunshine is not life. But this is what the systems tell us. You're supposed, the supposed is one of the most dangerous words, you know. Even if you go into classification, woman supposed to clean the household. Woman's supposed to be homey. I know men that are way better cleaners and way better homemakers than women, right? It has nothing to do with anything. It is our induced bullshit, basically, that became bullshit. It wasn't bullshit at the beginning, but then it turned into it. And I said, oh, now it's, oh, I'm not really an Asian person because Asian person supposed to do this, or a black person or white person. That supposedly is one of the most dangerous words, because in humanity there is no suppose. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And supposedly shames us. It's every game self-shaming. Yeah, supposedly have this finished. I promised that I'm gonna talk to Vicki, and I wasn't here at that. I supposedly, no, I wasn't here, but because I wasn't here. I'm not saying I don't care about it, because I was here. But it's the supposedly always makes you feel little.
Yeah, that is
always.
true.
And we need to look at our words. We need to look. That's why I'm saying observation is everything. Without anything. And always know my true north is humanity, nature, because it wasn't created by us.
Yeah,
and it's not, oh, I believe in this. I believe in this God or that God. No, I believe in humanity, because the fact is that we didn't create ourselves, right? And we didn't create nature, our habitat, right? I didn't create that either. So for me, those are guideposts, right? Yeah. And what is the knowledge is not knowledge, that's system thing, it's wisdom. It's something that once you experience it, which this podcast is a very good example about it. Wisdom, you can't unforget.
Yeah.
You can't unforget. Like if I show you the rainbow and you did it, you will show your kids that, and it will show the next. And that's what we hear. Yeah. Wisdom is also the key for our human existence, for next generation. We behave system-like. We don't care about the next generation. I don't have kids, but I care very much for the next generation. Yeah. I'm very grateful that I'm a part of this humanity, even though I didn't fit in. And I think artists are the stewards of the being of human beings, because we all we pivoted to human doings and systems. And arts are still the stewards to bring that forward. You know, they bring that forward, what it is to be, you know, in a, and I give you a good example of this. You go to any museum, and you have an opening. And so what do you see? Rich, poor, every gender, every sexuality, every race.
Yeah.
What else do you see? The people mingle and don't talk just business. They mingle and are happy just to be there. Now, what is that? There's a vibrational magic. Yeah. And you know, the funniest thing is they don't even look at the paintings. They don't even look at the thing. Charles Saatchi, a great collector in England, wrote 6, and it wrote an article in The Guardian about that. He says, I have to go back alone to see the art.
So you can see the art.
No, because you don't look, because it's more important. See, the product is not as important than our togetherness. And it's the best. I mean, even if you go to concerts, you see all kinds of people, you know, rich, poor, old, young, Republican, Democrats, because when you in a concert, when everybody sing that song, there's not a single person said that wasn't magical. That is magic. That is about humanity. And that's why art is a superpower.
Yeah. Awesome. Last one.
Go ahead. You hit me with 10 other ones. If you
go for the next 30 days.
For me, I don't have goals.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know, because that would
as soon as there's no way he has a goal for this.
I mean, my mission is my human mission, my essence is what I do. And I think I've proven that that is my mission, right?
Yeah.
But goals is pulling me out of the moment. And it's saying, I wish I was the most, the richest consultant about art in the world. That's in the future. Whatever I am already.
Yeah.
Like what I do with art,
present.
I unveil it. And every time I unveil something, I put it in, twice a week on my podcast, The Smart of Art too. So the Smart of Art podcast is just my revelations that I uncover, that I don't invent or make a scheme out of anything, that I unveil about what's already here. So when I see myself, I need to unveil, and I would recommend this to everybody. You are everything that you can be already. Just pray that you have enough time to unveil you, that you unveil yourself. I'm not saying run
you have to
time.
do something. You have to act. You can't.
But you acting comes automatically.
Well, but
I enjoy this process so much because I unveiled myself. I unveiled that part of me that can contribute to an extent where it takes over. It's like when you paint a picture, you have the white canvas, there's nothing there, right? There's the space.
Right.
And then you paint, and all of a sudden there comes a pivot point where it takes over and it becomes the master. You couldn't put a green dot there. Everybody would know that. Every human would know you can't put a green dot there. Because it has enough own life that you think, and the same is with yourself. But you get a feeling why I say art is a human superpower. Yeah. Because it is the example for almost every creation, including your unveiling. I mean, it's fantastic. Yeah. This talk is sensational. I wish everybody would listen to it like 5 times because I learned so much about it again, and it confirmed so much, And you didn't say, yeah, you're right. No, it just came out of both our discourse. That's why people need to talk, not about right, wrong, not about system talk, good, bad, but just to interact. In the old days, we told stories.
Yes.
Right? And I think that comes back now because, the earth is on a crisis in podcasts because the people don't want system information. They want human discourse, human stories. And I think that's why you have such a drive to podcasts. And I'm actually making a whole podcast document. I will send it to you.
Awesome.
About what I think the human experience and the superpower of healthy discourse, why podcasts, and that's the best we can do, basically because we are not in the same place,
right?
But I think there's so much in it which podcasters don't even see. I think there is a ton in it.
I absolutely love doing this. It just is, and
almost
wonderful.
Nobody makes money. People love it because this is the human thing. It's not about the money making. It's about the creation. Almost nobody makes, when you go on Google, you see 1,300 reviews on my stuff, up to 1,300 views, or 1,500 views. That's all lies. That's all not the value, because if 1,500 people watch this, don't you think you would have some feedback, you for your podcast and I for my consulting? We don't, because people don't have the time. But what we do by talking is changing the world, by expanding our consciousness.
Right.
And that's what the power is. It's not, oh, you must listen to this, or you must give it likes, or you must think. The product is secondary. Always, when you win an Oscar, ask every Oscar at the Olympics. There's the suicide after the Olympics, and there's the depression after you got an Olympic medal. The ends never justify the means.
It's the journey.
But you say that also. We say that. I know. I say it. There is the journey.
I say,
yeah. I think it is the journey. because every end was never satisfactory for me.
Yeah, because as you're going through it, then there's, well, what's next? What's next?
Yeah.
This has been really wonderful. I'm going to share my screen. So all of you that are just listening to this, please get your pencils and pens out and paper, and I will read the website information. He did share about his podcast, but let's just see all the information about where you can check out what Michaell has. So his website is https:// oops, we got a typo there. Michaell, MICHAELLM.com. That's michaellm.com. And Facebook is Michaell State of Art.
It's easier. It's easier. You don't even have to michaellm.com, and you get everywhere from there. There's
and you just hop right there.
And Michaell M is with 2 L's. michaellm.com, and you get to my Facebook, everything, my phone number, my
Twitter, YouTube. He's got YouTube, so Pinterest, Instagram, awesome. And so when you go to your website, what can they find there? Right.
On my website, all my contacts, all my paintings, my books, the link to the website, to the podcast, which is free, is 30 seconds twice a week to make you think, to align you, to bring you in balance, that you are human, a powerful human. And that's it. That's
awesome.
And if you want to know about art, and I know a lot of artists, and you said you have artists in your family, I would recommend to get the Kindle book, because you can have it read to you. So you don't, I know artists don't want to read. I mean, not every artist is dyslexic, but the most dyslexics are in art. And you just get the Kindle book is $3, and you can learn about your discipline, and you will, I guarantee, if you listen to my podcasts, you will double your appreciation for art, and you will double your appreciation for art appreciation. So for art creating, as a creator, you will double at least. I guarantee that.
Awesome.
Because of the awareness, what you do.
Well, it has been wonderful speaking with you today. And I am so glad that we could share your ideas and your thoughts, your guidance. And I encourage everybody to go to his website, check it out, and let us know what you thought. But more importantly, let him know what you thought about his great insights to how art and creativity are so important to everything that we do. So I would like to just end, as I always do, to remind you that life is a journey, as we mentioned, and it's up to you to enjoy the ride. This is Vicki Nettling signing off.
Thank you for tuning into the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Nettling, where we share impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Remember to visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast.